Hello? Oh, my God. A blackamoor. I've only seen your kind in paintings.
Campus, all right? So celebrate Moorish history and the Heritage Month, all right? Today, make sure you're there. Okay, in the studio with me is CHUO.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, how are you doing this afternoon, my brother?
Good. Everything's good.
Respect, respect. I'm well.
Thanks for the music too.
Yeah, man.
Starting us up.
You know what?
Right.
Sometimes you have to have some positive vibrations and carry people back to the root of the music, especially during this month. I just went back and stepped back in time and brought some original reggae music from the 70s on forward, right? Even the likes of Bob Marley and people thereof to put the foundation, change people's mindset, and let them know that, yo, trust me, songs like His Imperial Majesty, as the Rasta Elder spoke in the beginning, he basically talked about the League of Nations, which is turned into the Charter of Rights, was the original Charter of Rights for the what we have today, all right, for United Nations. You understand? So the more people realize that's where it's coming from, they'll understand and say like, yo, we are great people. You understand? Don't let people fool you because they change the situation.
Right.
You know what I mean? We do it positively, bring it forward.
Right.
So give thanks. You're here this afternoon. Tell us what's going on. It's called Combating the Fraud of Black History. First of all, tell us about something about Moorish history so that we can move forward and stand firm.
Well, like you said, I'm CHUO Adwell. I'm one of the Grand Sheiks of the Moorish movement. With regard to the importance of Moorish history, it's the most neglected history of our people.
Okay, let me ask, before you go any further, who were the Moors?
If we look at it from a historical perspective,
yes,
the Moors are basically any dark-skinned people that had power across the planet. They might have had different names at different times: Cushites, ancient Egyptians, Sumerians, Phoenicians, but the culmination of those people in modern times, their name is Moors.
Okay.
They took that name away and replaced that with Negro, Black, Colored, all the names that are a fiction, which is why today we're combating the fraud of Black history, because Black history is really Moorish history. But if they say Moorish history, then they're going to give away that, you know, we're not just adjectives, which is what Black is. So when we identify ourselves as Black people, we're saying that we're not human beings, because Black is an adjective and humans are identified by nationalities. Just like you said with going to the UN, the UN Declaration of Rights, the UN Declarations of Rights for a Child, the UN Declarations of Rights of Indigenous People, the UN Declaration of Rights of Human Beings, all state that we have a right to a nationality. But if we go around the planet, specifically North America, we'll realize that our people are the people who don't have a nationality and attract to labels or brands, opposed to national identities. So if we look at somebody from Ghana, they'll never say I'm African.
They'll say they're from
Ghana.
Right.
If we look at Chinese people, they never say that they're yellow. And they're fighting for yellow rights. You know, they have a yellow community, and when a Chinese kills a Chinese, yellow on yellow crime. They don't talk like that. And if they did talk like that, we look at them like they got screws loose. But when we talk like that, it's accepted. It's accepted.
Yes.
It's normal, because as quote unquote Black people, we're dumbed down people, right? So they really call us Black people because we're in mental darkness, which is why we appreciate what you're doing with the show, with playing positive music, so that we can get our people's mindset out of darkness and into light, which light is knowledge, and darkness is ignorance. So the importance of the Moorish history is to bring our people back to the perspective that they are the light beings of the planet. But if we're not acting like the light beings, then other people are going to take advantage of the position that we put ourselves in, which is why we're the ones that are facing the most hardship than anybody else.
You know, sometimes, if I read the Bible and I read like Deuteronomy, you understand? And you read the Deuteronomy and you get to a certain part of Deuteronomy. I can't quote that, well, I can't quote the verse, but it begins to talk about the sins committed and what we will be facing with that. And they keep referring to that in many different areas that I watch, programs or documentaries I watch on YouTube, They talk about things like that all the time. How does that play a role into who we are as Moorish people, black people, who we identify as? How does that play a role?
Well, again, the ultimate sin, the ultimate sin of any people is really ignorance.
Mm.
You know what I mean? The whole idea of sin is not you did something bad. Sin is really that you were ignorant of something. That's why you do negative things.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the negative things that you did.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact that, you know, like somebody who is on the street, right, doing street stuff or whatever,
mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Their sin isn't what they're doing. Their sin is they should be taking that position that they have as far as being able to move product and put that to a business. Drug dealers would be the best businessmen if they had the mindset of business opposed to try to make money for whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the same way that like if somebody can flip an ounce, then there's no need that they can't flip anything else that's quote unquote a product. But our people being in the darkness mindset don't even look at putting the finance toward, you know, have a community or have a convenience store, right? Have a restaurant. Open up something in the community so that the community has something to build itself opposed to something that's going to destroy it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But again, once they have the ignorance mindset, then ignorance is what they're going to exercise. You know?
Positive talk.
Yeah.
Positive talk. Now, in Toronto, how long has this group been in effect?
We were established in Toronto in 2007.
Mm-hmm.
We were established from a group of Moors who are in Chicago that brought us into the information. And you know, because we've been through all the different schools of thought, when we realized that this is something that has been neglected in our learning, it was something that had to be implemented. Once you study the information, the historical references, the historical accuracy of the neglect of talking about Moorish history, logically it's the only thing missing. So when we go through the line, for example, Elijah Muhammad was a member of the Moorish Science Temple before he was an NOI. Fard Muhammad was a member of the Moorish Science Temple before he was NOI. When Marcus Garvey was in Atlanta prison before he got deported, he got visited by Noble Drew Ali, who put him onto the information that Marcus Garvey even came out and told the Garveyites that the only way you're going to be happy is if you adopt your nationality as Negroes, because he knew at that time that Negro wasn't going to assist our people. But you know, one of the things that the colonial powers do with our people is that they take the head away, because they know that the body is not going to survive without the head, right? But the obligation is on the body to make sure they have the information that the head has. So as soon as they cut that head, another head grows. And they cut that head, then another head grows. But once they take our leaders away for our people, most of the time that's the end of whatever it is that leader has started.
So information has to be disseminated. Information has to be out there for each one to learn. Each one teach one.
Yeah, right. But each one has to also take the responsibility of learning as well, not just to get stuff put on them. They have to do their own due diligence in going out and researching and studying and things like that for their own improvement as an individual.
You know, when I listen to reggae music, I listen to remember songs like Dennis Brown singing about, like, what about the half that's never been told?
Right.
And even in lyrics like that, you have to stop and think and wonder and say to yourself, well, okay, there's something about my history that I wasn't taught. Yeah, that I wasn't taught in school.
Right.
Going to school here they're not teaching me. They're not teaching you directly about your black history, the great things you've done. Let's take a simple analogy.
Yeah.
Many creators of many things that we use today were black inventors.
Right.
They never showed black children. I don't think they still do to this day.
Right.
Show black children in school.
Exactly.
These are the things that people like you created.
Right. Now when we look at it from the perspective of the historical accuracy. Those people who created those stuff weren't black. That's why they can't talk about it. The people who created those things, if we look at them, if I look at you, your physical presentation, you don't look like your headphones. So you're not black. You're dark brown, you're swarthy, you're melanated, you have high concentration of carbon in your skin, but you're not black. Right? So as soon as we say black people, we put ourselves in the shortest history, because black history only started from the slave trade. So that has nothing to do with the ancient stuff that we did.
No, that's what they say it started
Right,
from.
right.
That's what they say.
But again, if we say that we're black, then we're going with what they say. Which stunts our historical position. Right. And they know that. So again, which is why when you go to other nations, they always have school after school.
To teach.
Their children don't only go to public school.
True.
To whatever, and that's
My
it.
Greek friends went to Greek school on Saturday.
Exactly.
My Italian friends went to Italian school on Saturday.
Druze go to Druze school.
Yeah.
Chinese have martial arts school or whatever like that they go to.
Yeah.
Turks have some type of language school.
Yeah.
But us, we got, Grand Theft Auto on Saturday. Right. NBA 2K. Right.
The commercialization, the branding of, and so on and so forth.
Right.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then when we look at who we are as a people, one of the Moorish elders speak about we cannot rise where we didn't fall. Right? We fell as a people as Moors. That's the last name around the world that everybody in the world knew us as before we became black people. But then none of the historians, select few, but majority of them skip over Moorish history. So when we do the timeline, when we're tracing the timeline back, we're looking at slavery, and then there's a gap, and then they talk about ancient Egyptians and all this stuff. That gap is 700 years of Moorish history that is not talked about, because as soon as we start talking about that, we start talking about us bringing the Europeans into knowledge.
Yeah, on that note, you stop and you think about it and you say to yourself, all right, I watched a documentary and said that blacks or Boers, no, I'm just saying how it was titled, right? In Europe. And they started talking about the noble people that were sitting where the queen is sitting, before the queen was sitting there.
Yeah.
You understand? And I stopped and I watched the documentary and I said like, wow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I often tell people like, yo, go watch this.
Yeah.
Go watch things and learn about you. Know what? Hidden.
Which documentary?
I forget what it is. I forget. I'm gonna find out what it is again and mention it. But it was really speaking about blacks in Europe, okay, or Moors in Europe or whatever. Right. They were speaking about that and how they were risen up, and they were kings in Scotland.
Yeah.
There were black kings, great people of color in power in Scotland and all those places, right? Way before the queen. Right. And the throne that the queen sits on was actually sat on by a black person.
Queen Charlotte.
All right.
Right.
So things like that, they're not going to speak of and let you know that history.
And this is why the obligation is on us. Because we should be telling our own story.
Yeah.
We shouldn't allow them to tell our story. We should be telling our story. Which is why, as far as the evolution of our consciousness, it doesn't evolve. Because we're constantly waiting for them to be the one to teach us or let us know or whatever, when, especially now, people can go on their phone. Nobody has excuse right now.
Yeah.
You got data plan, then you can go do some research instead of going on Facebook and liking, fat asses and stuff like that. Get some information.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Go in Google and research your Moorish history. Now, we're putting this on the record so that people can go do the research on the Moors. Forget all the other stuff, because you already know that stuff. Everybody already told us about all the kings and queens of all the, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that Moorish history, that is the missing piece to our evolution, to our liberation, to our salvation as dark-skinned people. Because again, as soon as you call yourself black, you're saying that you're an adjective. If you're an adjective, that means you're no different than a chair, table, lock, lamp, paper on the wall.
And an adjective is a word that describes.
That is not the proper noun.
Yes.
Right? If we say colored, you know, that wall's colored. That paper is colored. That power bar is colored. You know what I mean? That light right there is colored. It's blinking. All those are things. You would never hear, and again, it's only in North America and the islands where you get into this confusion of identity. You know what I mean? Like we said, on the continent, the people on the continent identify themselves by nationality. Right? So we're going to be breaking it down for about 3 hours today. We're going to be at the Morissette building, room 218, and basically just, you know, answering questions and going over this concept of who are the Moors, what are the Moors, and how does it play in correcting the fraud of black history.
Wow, that's a positive situation. I think that, you know what, that there's even to open up the light right now and make people understand just the simple explanation that you gave. Right? Even the term black.
Yeah.
Using it, and I can guarantee a lot of people never thought of it in that way.
No, most definitely. We usually don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But again, it has to do with the brainwashing. It has to do with the colonization that we're under. You know, where if we're not going to find the information ourselves, more than likely we're being played.
And you know what? A lot of I don't know. My cousin sent me a lot of documentaries to watch. You understand? And they send you things in regards to if you start changing things in history from years and centuries and centuries ago. After all, when it comes to our history, will be gone because it won't be us. I mean, look at the movies how we're look at the movies how we're depicted. People who are actually of color aren't depicted as people of color. I think the only thing that they really show you, and they can't deny it, is in Shakespearean time, it's Othello.
And Othello was the Moor.
Right. And Othello will always be that person of color. But if you look at all those movies and stuff through history.
But I mean, like they slick put it in. Right? So for example, in True Romance, right? In True Romance there's a scene where before one of these Europeans kills the other European, Europeans telling him, well, you know, the Moors ruled Europe, and you know, you have dark hair and dark eyes because your grandmother slept with a Moor, and now you got, you know, quote unquote nigger blood. Right? And then the guy killed him because, you know, he was just trying to punk the guy on the last thing. Right?
You're Sicilian, huh?
Sicilian.
You know, I read a lot, especially about things, about history. I find that shit fascinating. Here's a fact, I don't know whether you know or not. Sicilians were spawned by niggers.
Come again?
No, it's a fact. Yeah. You see, Sicilians have black blood pumping through their hearts. And no, if you don't believe me, you can look it up. Hundreds and hundreds of years ago, you see, the Moors conquered Sicily.
Will Smith in True Romance in Wild Wild West, the guy with the spider robot legs, called Will Smith a blackamoor in the movie.
Good morning, gentlemen. I trust you slept well.
What have you done with Rita?
Rita, is it? How familiar. Rita is sleeping off the after effects in the stateroom. She is quite lovely, isn't she? Who knows? I might even become familiar with her myself.
That'll be one more reason for me to kill you.
Oh, yes, Mr. West. I'm sure to a no doubt well-endowed blackamoor like yourself, it must seem absolutely impossible that a freak like me could fully enjoy the pleasure of a woman.
Right? Goes over our people's head because that part of history is missing from them. So when they hear it, it's not even registering. But trust me, they're telling. Even in Narcos. Narcos.
Yeah.
They went to go check the drug dealer, and on the wall he had a big picture on the wall with Moors on there. Big picture, just like this thing right here. The guy, the scene was just passing by the picture, but those who have eyes will see that. Hold on a second. So why is this Marcos guy from Colombia or whatever have Moorish?
Escobar, yeah.
Why does he have Moorish stuff in his house in South America? What if Moors are from Europe and did whatever in Europe? Why does he have it over here? You know what I mean? Because obviously Moors were over here. Obviously he knows some of the history. We have to look at, even on a level, is it really only drugs that they were going after him for? Just like Gaddafi, was it really because he was terrorist funding or whatever, or was he trying to give Africa their own satellite? Right?
He was trying to
bring the gold standard back on the continent, so there's no paper money.
So that he could bring, the money that they wanted to create, let's just talk like that. Right. The money which they wanted to create have a backing. They have the minerals, they have the gold,
everything.
So what does other countries back their dollar on?
Right.
So who has? Let me just talk like that. Who has the gold? Right. Who has the minerals, wealth of minerals, to back a dollar?
A dollar. Yeah, just
a dollar for a country or a continent like Africa.
Right.
So if Africa united through a dollar, some form of dollar, how great would that continent be with that dollar backed with gold, diamonds, and so on and so forth?
Exactly.
You understand me? So, I mean, they can speculate and say all they want.
Yeah, but
what
the reality is
the
reality.
Right. All right. So, good to know. So, I hope that in this brief interview, that you've opened up the minds of many and opened the hearts of many to stop, look, listen, think about what.
Most importantly, think.
Think about, really think about yourselves and identity. Right now, if I Google a tune right now, I'm going to play a tune by Bob Marley when we finish. But also, I'm going to play a tune called Identity by a group called the Mighty Dime. I'm going to look for that tune right now because that's how I sort of function. You know what I mean? A tune called Identity.
Give thanks, bro.
All right, my brother.
Appreciate
well,
the
thanks
time,
for
and
the
thank you again
thanks
for
for
the
the
music.
thanks for the knowledge, eh? Yeah, thanks for the knowledge because without it's
Our people die for a
loss,
lack
man.
of knowledge.
You know what I'm saying? Right here. So here what? See, in this conversation, we're having a conversation and just dealing with it right now. So
You would do well to mind your tongue more. Or I will cut it out and feed it to the dog.
Sounds like it's having a hallucinogenic effect. Not like a drug, which is harmful and wrong, and just say no, kids. But spacey nonetheless.